Hi guys, so I'm just going over a couple different concepts today. We've talked about combining like terms, we've talked about the distributive property, and now I'm just going to go over how to put those two together. The first problem that I have here is just a simple combining like terms. Whoops, wrong way, sorry. And remember that when you're combining like terms, the easiest way to do that is to first and foremost change all of these subtraction problems, rewrite those as addition, which we've talked about at length. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right underneath. And remember to do that, we change the sign here and then change the sign over here. So 3a we keep plus 6b. We're going to change that to addition and make that a -4. Subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. We have another subtraction, so we're going to change that to addition and make that a -8b plus 2a. And then we're going to change this to addition and make that a -9. Then to go ahead and combine like terms, we just look for terms that are the same. So I'm going to start with my a's, and here we've got a 3a. Now that all of our terms have signs, we can go ahead and match those up. This is a positive 2a. So a 3a plus 2a would give me 5a. Then we've got 6b and a -8b. So if I'm thinking about my number line, if I go forward 6 and back 8, I should be at a -2. And I'm just looking at those coefficients because they're both b's. So forward 6, back 8 would give me a -2b. And then my last would be my terms without variables, which would be the -4 and the -9. So we're going in the same direction. So if we start at 0 on the number line and go back 4 and then back 9, we would be at a -13. We don't have any more like terms. We just have a, b, and then this one has no variable. So that's as far as we can take this one. And that would be combined. The next thing we're going to look at, hopefully you watched the simplified video of the distributive property that I posted, but that one was without variables. I'm going to do a couple example problems with variables just to kind of help you see that concept. Remember, if this was an array, we've got the -3x plus 6, and then 4 is our number that we're distributing. So I'm going to distribute that 4 to the -3x. So 4 times -3x plus, and then 4 times 6. Okay. When I go ahead and multiply that out, I'm just looking at the term here and the coefficient. So I've got 4 times -3. A 4 times 3 is 12, and then remember a positive times a negative is a negative, so -12x. And then 4 times 6 is 24. And since those are not like terms, that's as far as we can take that one. Okay. Those are the first two. I'm going to go ahead and do a few more. So I'm going to erase this here. The next example is going to also be distributive property, but this time I'm going to have subtraction. And just like before when I was combining like terms, I'm going to rewrite this as an addition problem just to make my multiplication consistent. So I'm going to say 4 times -3x plus -8. And then I can go ahead and distribute. 4 times -3x is a -12x. 4 times 3 is 12, and then a positive times a negative is a negative. Plus 4 times -8, we've got -32. because 4 times 8 is 32, and then a positive times a negative is a negative. These are not like terms because this one has an x and that one doesn't. So that's as far as we can take it. The next example, I'm going to have a negative number being distributed with a subtraction problem. So again, I'm going to get rid of that subtraction sign by rewriting it as an addition problem. So everything stays the same, except instead of minus a positive 9, we're going to add a negative 9. And then I can go ahead and do my distribution. So I'm multiplying negative 5 times 2x, and then negative 5 times 9. So 5 times 2 is 10x. A negative times a positive is a negative. And then 5 times 9 is 45. Oops. And then a negative times a negative is a positive. Same signs, our answer is positive when we multiply. So there's that. So hopefully you're kind of understanding this concept of the distributive property. So now I'm going to combine that with combining like terms. So here's our example of that. All right. We have 4b plus 3 times 2a minus b plus 7. Okay. Now, don't mind my board. It's a little bit dirty there. I'm going to slide it up and try not to write over on the stained part here. So the first thing I have to do is this distributive property section. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite, remember when we did order of operations, we do parentheses first. Well, because these are not like terms, we can't combine them, but I can get rid of the parentheses by distributing that 3. So in order to do that, I'm going to rewrite it as this here as an addition problem. So I'm going to keep everything else the same, times 2a plus a negative b plus 7. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 3 to the 2 terms there. I'm going to rewrite it over here. So I've got 4b doesn't change. 3 times 2a. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we leave the a. They're both positive, so it's going to be a positive 6a. Plus 3 times negative b. And if there's no coefficient, we know that there's a negative 1. So 3 times negative 1 would be a negative 3b. And then plus 7. For this one, we only have like terms of b, 4b. Now that we've distributed, we can go ahead and combine like terms. So 4b and negative 3b, so 4 plus negative 3. So if we go forward 4 and back 3, we'd be at 1b, and then 6a plus 7. I like to write these in numerical order, so I'm not gonna, this is simplified, I'm just gonna rewrite it so they're in, not numerical order, but in alphabetical order. So we have 6a plus, we don't need that 1 in front of the b, so I'm just gonna write b plus 7. So this is just the exact same thing written out. And there you go. So again, I'm going to do a Zoom call tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. If you have questions about this concept, I'm going to post an assignment in Alex that goes with this concept here. So you need to complete the 2 that are already in Alex before you can do this one. And then if you take a look at those, then write down problems that you're having trouble with, and then meet me tomorrow. It's actually, we're going to do a Google Hangout, not Zoom. I'll post the directions for that in Google Classroom, and then you can go ahead and join me tomorrow at 10 and ask any questions that you have. Hope everyone's doing well. Miss you. Hope I get to see you soon.